Well, call Greg and have him fix the clock.
2 o'clock somewhere.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
Oh, I fixed that.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born in the
realize my seatbelt ripped my lapel pin off. Hopefully it's in there.
Sometimes it turns them
Okay.
upside down too.
Do we have any minutes or reports received and filed, or did you just goof off last?
Yeah, right. Yes, I do. So I have the recorder's October 2024 fees, the county clerk's October 2024 fees, the sheriff's October 2024 fees, and the treasurer's revenue and expenditure report.
Glad you- Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
We got a few things Thursday and Friday. I'll be at a HBA Leadership Conference though, so the Cole County Communities meeting tomorrow morning, Cole County Extension tomorrow afternoon, Lions tomorrow evening, Chamber Coffee Friday morning, Cole County, Callaway County Commission retirement. Don't know if y'all are gonna make it up there or not.
I'm gonna try to, that's Friday, right?
Yeah, I sent my regrets on that, but
Yeah, I don't know, probably not.
so, and then we don't have a meeting until next Wednesday, so Tuesday, there's a Cole County Safety Committee meeting, HBA Board meeting, and Planning Committee meeting Tuesday evening, and then Wednesday before our meeting, we've also got Transportation meeting that I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to attend beforehand, so. I think that was it.
Okay, tomorrow evening is Bugle Boy. Friday morning, there's a LU Veterans event, I think early on Friday morning. Monday is Hy-Vee Vet Breakfast, Veterans Breakfast, and Monday's Veterans Day, correct?
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, yeah, tomorrow the communities, Doug Reese from St. Martin's is going to talk on the book he wrote, so it ought to be interesting. Callaway County, Saturday, I've got Sons of American Revolution meeting, and then the Missouri Foster Care Adoption Gala is Saturday night at Capitol Plaza. Monday's Veterans Day. And we will not, our next meeting will be on Wednesday, November 13th, and the auditor will present the 2025 budget. So that is all I have. Any commission comments? Bids and contracts. Contract signing for workman's compensation insurance for 2025.
Last week, we awarded the workers' compensation insurance to Acusure for an estimated annual total of $353,229, and today I'm just needing signing of the contract.
Good. All right, I make a motion to approve and sign a contract for workers' compensation insurance for 2025.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay, new business. Accounts payable review.
We don't have any to approve this week.
2024-25 EMPG grant.
Good afternoon, Commission.
Good afternoon.
It's weird saying good afternoon. It's
different.
morning. So I have the EMPG grant that's through the 2024-2025. I sent some emails about this, but the total award is $99,160.29, for which we are responsible for only 50% of that cost, the $49,580.15. And then, of course, we cost share with Jeff City. So 25% of that is our responsibility. If you all don't have any questions, I can pass this on to Harry.
So that we're responsible for 25% of the, or half of the 50%?
Yes. And so what we've been doing with EMPG, because it's gotten considerably smaller, and and it seems like that's the trend now. It only covers our salary, and I don't think this year it covers all of that. And it does not cover benefits. Last year it only covered maybe 2,000 worth of benefits. It really wasn't more than maybe a pay period. And then no operating costs whatsoever. So the shares that we share so what we share in the budget between Jeff City is become greater because the grant is now so much less.
Yep, I'm good with it. I think we need to look at possibly in the future what we're gonna do with it, because it does keep getting less and less. We've got a lot of equipment over there we gotta take care of in a building and employees, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion to sign the 24-25 EMPG grant subrecipient award.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have
Sam,
one
I
more
have-
question afterwards here.
Yes, sir.
When does the city approve it?
The city does not. The city doesn't approve the grant cycle.
They
I
don't
talked to them
approve
about.
paying the 25%.
No, that was established through our MOU from 1989. And
Okay.
they've just continued paying the bills that we send them.
Okay, so
Okay.
And then Sam, I have both copies there for you, so I don't know.
You're behind the clip.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to initial each page, do I?
No. This is not the Homeland Security grants where you have to initial each page, just the front page.
Okay, I
Are
will
those
do
two
that.
different ones or exactly the same?
They're exactly the same. Do you
Signing of surplus titles.
Because I need one to
This
put
is
in our
a
file
2016
and then
Ford
one to send back.
sheriff's vehicle that they want to send.
Is there, so is that okay?
Surplus.
Okay.
Do that one.
Yep.
I will make a motion to sign the surplus title Cole County Sheriff's Department. It's 2016 Ford four-door.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval of changes for the purchasing card policy and purchasing policy.
So when the auditors were here, they pointed out the county use of Amazon. We currently do not have anything in the purchasing policy or the purchasing card policy regarding Amazon purchases. With Amazon, it's difficult to determine who the actual vendor is that we're buying the items from. And that could lead into an instance where we're non-compliant with federal grants if they're on a debarred or suspended list. So I'm pretty much just asking for departments to check the debarment list, or can reach out to me and I can log into SAMS.gov and can check it for them real quick. Debbie, Jill, and Mark have all reviewed it and they were okay with the changes if you guys are. And I have printouts if it's not attached.
It was attached to the documents, so.
Yeah. should be.
Do we run the risk of actually purchasing something and then finding out later they're on the debarred list?
Yes,
So.
that's what we could run into.
So at this point, or the plan is, we do that check on the front side.
Check on the, yep, check with me, or SAMS.gov updates their list daily. So they can check it, it's a spreadsheet of like thousands of vendors, and they can just search real quick, and if it's on there, then you can't use them, and if it's not, then you can use them.
Okay, and how do we get the word out? How many folks are carrying a card?
We did, there's quite a few that carry a card. We did mention at the beginning of the year after the auditors were here, that, that was one of the things. We had sent a notice out to all the department heads about the Amazon purchases and the quote that the auditors had suggested to
Okay.
help us fix it. This was just an additional part of changing our policies to include that too, especially in the purchasing policies. We can send out the purchasing policies back out to all the people that carry a card. We could do
And I
that.
can send an email, just if you're using Amazon, just touch base, and I can show them where to go. I can create a little guide to make it easier for them. That way we're
Yes,
doing
we
our
need-
due
We need to do
diligence.
something, and if all possible, I would really like to buy locally, or
Mhm.
if we can. I know there's, but
Yeah.
I don't, I'm
Because
old, I don't like,
it is kind of hard to
I don't
even
like that.
figure out what vendor you're actually buying from.
Yeah.
yes.
When you buy from places like that.
So what if you find out somebody did buy from one that's non-compliant or barred, banned, whatever? Then do we go back and say you did not do enough research and we're not gonna pay you back for it, or?
It's on our cards. It makes it very difficult not to pay our own cards. I mean, we can slap their hands, don't do it again. You know, if it's not a big dollar amount item, then it's not gonna trigger anybody to look at that, you know, or whatever, to see that item. But,
We could even have people sign the acceptance forms again for the
Yes.
purchasing policy, stating that you read it, and you agree with the new policy, and
and we do that, yes, we did that when we first gave them a card, but yeah, now that it's updated, that's a
So
good
what
idea.
happens to them if they do buy something that's banned?
It's up to you guys, I guess. We'll bring it to you if you want us to,
Well,
or,
the fact is, we buy it.
yes.
They
buy it.
authorized it with the use of their P card. So what do? Do we go to that employee and say,
Give me my card back.
yeah. And I have
Well-
access that I can terminate cards or suspend cards, and so, I mean, if we need to go to that point, we can, and we
Kind
can
of where I
bring
was
it.
going was, is there some kind of disciplinary action? Do we need to have some kind of policy on that? Saying, you know, hey, the first time, if it's a mistake,
She let it do that.
we can work on it and then,
Well, there are so many things now
I think
that
there's stuff
electronic
in there
that
for
could
that,
actually
but-
have bugs in them. I mean, look at the pagers that they had that they detonated and,
I think we have some language in there, especially about getting their card removed from them if they don't follow the policies, but we'll look at that for sure. It's been a while since.
And then I do have I updated the policies with today's date, too, if you guys,
Okay.
I don't know if you need them, yes, probably.
I'm fine with it, but I mean, what are we saying? Okay, don't do this or nothing.
We can table it and we'll look through that policy. and
Well,
see if
I
it's
say
in
we
there.
go ahead and approve this, but then I think we just need to figure out what kind of disciplinary actions we're gonna have if somebody does. I mean, if
well,
it, how serious it is and.
it is serious.
yes, it can be, or actually, any dollar is serious because we purchased it from a banned vendor.
Right.
So the purchasing policy that employees are shown puts them on notice. So to the extent they have violated the purchasing policy, we have the authority or responsibility to rectify that situation one way or another.
We'll need to be violating the purchasing policy and the purchasing card policy, because
Okay.
it's in
I'm sorry.
both.
Right, okay.
So you good with going ahead with this?
Yes,
And
I
then we
am,
can-
yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the proposed changes presented for the purchasing card policy and purchasing policies.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Think we have to sign anything here, do we?
Nope, nope.
Okay.
I just updated the date and then added that verbiage in there.
I like this 1970s font on this one.
It's old school.
Okay,
Recreating that thing.
It's
okay.
original.
You know.
Public hearing for Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendations.
We've got about 55, 60 slides here, so
Yeah, I know you printed those off. I didn't realize.
I'll try to
those.
be out of here by 2:30.
I got some popcorn in the microwave.
Can I go
so-
first?
Oh, I forgot to get my soda. No, I'll go very, very quick through this. It is something we have to do anytime we have an item, a regulatory item signed or other item that's recommended by the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board. We have to bring it to the county commission to approve a court order if they accept their recommendation. So I'll go through the items quickly. If you got something specific, just ask. But we'll go through and probably do each item, do them individually, not wait till the very end. So the first item is on Lesh Road. It's a speed limit. And we just recently upgraded this section of Lesh Road between the pink or the purple circle to the north to the red circle. The other part of Lesh Road had been upgraded several years ago. This part was left in gravel, and we just recently completed it last year. Did the speed study on it, and average speeds were just a little over 40 miles per hour. We typically base our speed limits off of the 85th percentile, which was approaching 49 or almost 50 miles per hour. Most of the road's fairly straight. The surrounding speed limits on Zion Road are 40. Beck Road is 40, and then Lesh Road, the previously paved section to the south is 40 miles per hour. Just some pictures of what the road looks like. Like I said, it is fairly straight. There's a few curves, but very open, drives good. It's been a well-constructed road, and come to the end of the bridge. So just a few items to think about and that the Traffic and Safety Board looked at. We did change Lesh Road to the south. It was 30 south of the bridge. We changed it to 40 miles per hour in October of 22. And like I mentioned, the 85th percentile was in the upper 40s, but everything around it is assigned at 40 miles per hour. So typically, we try to be consistent and not go from one speed limit to the next. Consistency is a little bit better, and we don't want to encourage higher speeds on roadways. So the Traffic and Safety Board recommended that the new section of Lesh Road be signed at 40 miles per hour to match all the connecting roads. So any discussion on that? And if none, we would need a motion to accept their recommendation.
Good. I'll make a motion to accept the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation that the new section of Lesh Road at 40 miles per hour to match the southern portion and connecting roads in the area, unless you need me to word it exactly as it is on here.
It's your call.
Okay.
That's good enough for
Yeah.
a second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, some more rounds?
I think since I already approved it.
True.
The Traffic
no,
and
that's
Safety
your
Commission,
recommendation.
yeah.
And Sam is the
Yes.
commission representative on the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board, so he's seen these.
Yeah, I just got one, I want to rescind my,
Okay. The next one is on Green Valley Drive. We had a request for no parking on a portion of Green Valley Drive. Green Valley is off of Henwick Lane, which is off of Rainbow Drive, kind of a little west of Jefferson City. Zoomed in, you can see it. It's a fairly sharp curve where this request came from. And looking at the road, heading kind of northeast, you can see that the road turns and it's going downhill as it turns. And it is a little challenging to see just by itself, but if there was cars there, it'd be pretty difficult, and then you would have to drive into the center of the pavement and not be able to see oncoming cars. Once you get around the curve, it opens up. It's pretty easy to see beyond that. And then coming up the hill, anytime we get a parking request, we probably want to look at both sides. Coming up the hill, there's really not a sight distance problem there. You can see pretty good, and you're going to be in the lane anyway. You don't really have any obstructions in your lane. So the request was just on the inside of the curve. And so as we looked at this, there's some general information. The Traffic and Safety Manual for Cole County recommends that parking not be allowed on curves where hazardous situations may be created. And then sometimes we look at, there is in August 2005, there was a court order that prohibited parking from 30 feet each direction from radius points at intersections. So in turning type areas on roadways, we don't allow parking at intersections. So the board looked at this. They recommend, due to the tight horizontal curve where the situation is, it is a little bit hazardous. And what their recommendation is that we prohibit parking on the inside of the curve of point 125 feet from Henwick Lane to a point 245 feet from Henwick Lane, which is a distance of 120 feet. So we would need any discussion or conversation. That's an image showing that specific area. And then if you're in agreement, we'll approve this. So if you'd like to read that, Jeff.
I'm gonna defer this one to my Western District Commissioner, since that's on
It's in my.
his side of town, by golly.
I'll make a motion to adopt the Safety Advisory Board recommendation with respect to no parking Green Valley Drive, 120 feet. It is the inside curb line, south side of road, from a point 125 feet from the nearest edge of Henwick Lane to a point 245 feet from the nearest edge of in McLean.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one, another request for no parking, and this was on Westview Drive, and there was no parking on one side of the road. And in the full request, I don't have it in here, but the individual that requested, they also mentioned parking on Westview near the roundabout makes it difficult to see. So we looked at both items as we reviewed this request. Westview Drive is, comes south of the intersection of Bighorn Drive and Old Loman in the Westview area. And it's the main entryway into the Westview Heights subdivision if you're coming from the north. The two circles show the whole length of the road. When Westview Drive intersects Bagnell, cars split all directions, and there's not as big of a concern as you head a little further south. So the section we looked at was just from Bighorn Drive or Old Loman down to Bagnell. And here's the roundabout. Now, this was constructed in 2010 to correct an offset intersection that was experiencing quite a bit of traffic. So it is a very high traveled area, a lot of residential in this area, and this is the primary entryway in. So if you're sitting in the roundabout getting ready to turn onto Westview, this is what you're gonna see, and you can tell that there's a little bit of a curve and it turns to the right. Apologize, I was in the truck through you got some glare on the windshield, but you can see that, you are going and you're kind of losing sight of the road as you go around the curve. Coming around, it's not too bad. There's two curves where it kind of snakes through the residential area, and you'll see those here. And this is pretty consistent throughout the road. The few curves as you're coming in, but once you get past, it's pretty straight. A lot of information in here. It's somewhat conflicting as we look at a few different documents. The Traffic and Safety Manual does state that parking, if you're going to have parking on both sides of the road, you should have a 38-foot roadway. Westview Drive is 35 feet back to back. But the manual also states that residential streets where the primary service is to provide access to the properties, there should be at least one unobstructed lane when parking is on both sides. And if you do have parking on both sides, there is enough room for a car to get through. So it's wide enough for normal traffic. And then the manual, and we talked about earlier, should not be allowed, says that parking should not be allowed on curves where hazardous situations exist. And then when we have intersections, the same thing I mentioned earlier, 30 feet from an intersection, parking is prohibited. We typically paint curbs at intersections, but we haven't recently in this area, and we've done some curb and gutter replacements, and it had not been painted back. So some of the curbs that should be painted based on the 30 foot from an intersection are not painted. There's also the Cole County rules for land subdivision and development and construction. It has other classifications. This was adopted in 1999. And for a collector roadway like this, the width should be 37 back to back for parking on both sides. So somewhat conflicting, but not too far off. As we looked at this, if you follow those two documents, Westview is a little bit narrow for both side parking. However, the primary purpose of this road is really access to the residential properties. So you could use that part of the manual to justify parking on both sides. This road has had parking as long as it's been constructed, over 40 years. And to try to change that to one side parking would be pretty challenging. The pictures that I showed you were taken during the day when there's not as many people parking on the road. You'd see a lot more cars at night or on weekends. So, and then the curves do present some challenges, but we would go and paint those as I stated earlier. We need to do some painting out there. So the staff recommended to the advisory board, and they accepted it, that, and I'll show you here in a second, they did not recommend prohibiting parking on one side of Westview in the area shown, but they did recommend, looking at the second item at the roundabout, that parking be restricted from the roundabout to the first driveway. It's a distance of 90 feet. So here's an image showing that. So as you're coming into the roundabout, just the turning movements and everything coming and going in there, cars parked right up to that would create a hazard. And so that doesn't conflict too much with people that would need to park on the streets, and we felt and the board agreed that we would want to prohibit parking in that area. So the recommendation of the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board is to prohibit parking on Bighorn Drive, and this would be a point 25 feet from the nearest edge of the crosswalk for a total distance of 90 feet. So we need any comments or discussion, and then if you are in agreement, we would need to approve the board.
I figured y'all had plenty of discussion at the Traffic and Safety Board
We
meeting, didn't it?
really, we have a good committee. We really do. We
So,
have-
I mean,
So,
I was glad you didn't say you wanted to eliminate parking on one
No.
side of that. I was like, oof,
you couldn't,
that'd be tough.
you couldn't,
Oh, yeah, if I lived out there, I'd be
you couldn't.
livid if you took off not parking there, so.
If
yeah.
you lived out there, you'd have to resign from the Eastern District Commissioner.
Yeah. True, so.
So this is gonna be well accepted by the residents there?
I'm not sure a whole lot of cars parked there, and I don't think it'll be a problem. Like I said, that coming in and out of that roundabout, can be a little chaotic at times, especially the busy times of the day.
I'll make a motion to accept the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation with respect to no parking Westview Drive, both sides of the road, south from Bighorn Drive, from a point 25 feet from the nearest edge of the crosswalk to a point 115 feet from the nearest edge of the crosswalk, a total distance of 90 feet. That should do
Second.
it.
All in favor?
Aye. Next time, make that in the form of a motion, like we approve the recommendation submitted here too, or something. I think you're just laughing too much about this and enjoying it. The next one's mine, unfortunately.
They're all yours, but they're a lot easier to read.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do these here. The next one, we had a request come in on, for stop signs, and the request was one specific location. It was Sterling Ridge at Christian Ridge, and this is out in the Lake Van Loo Estate subdivision.
Here you are, sir.
And so,
Thank you, sir.
out in Van Loo Estates, this is off of Rolling Road, almost into the Wardsville area. You can see the black, those are current stop signs that are in place in what I would call a little bit older part of the subdivision, not old, but a little bit the newer, or the first couple phases of the subdivision, a little bit older. And these stop signs did go through the process and were approved back at the time the roads were put in. And so the request was for one location, but we looked at every other situation in the subdivision for consistency. And Traffic and Safety Manual, again, that's the document we refer to most of the time when looking at these items. The full build out of the subdivision has resulted in intersection situations that fit condition number 2, which is a street entering a through street. And then just for consistency's sake, we want to, we looked at everything in the subdivision, not just the actual one that was requested, to look at these situations, and what we're going to recommend is stop signs at all of the intersections of a minor road with a more through street, and that is on Sterling Ridge at Christian Ridge, Lalisa Terrace at Christian Ridge, Curtis Way at Sterling Ridge, Rusty Drive at Sterling Ridge, and on Sir Travis Circle at Sterling Ridge. And that was the Traffic and Safety Board accepted our recommendation. So we would need a motion to approve each one of these 5 court orders.
Yeah, 5. Couldn't do them all in the same one?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, you good. So,
Yeah, separate motion for each one. I guess, I don't know, you can probably do them all in one.
Okay,
That's
well,
your call.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the stop control be placed on Sterling Ridge at the intersection with Kristen Ridge. That the stop control be placed on Lalisa Terrace at the intersection with Christian Ridge. That the stop control be placed on Curtis Way at the intersection with Kristen Ridge. that the stop control be placed on Rusty Drive at the intersection with Kristen Ridge, and that the stop control be placed on Sir Travis Circle at the intersection with Kristen Ridge.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're done with you. Approval of comp time payout for pre-trial employees.
I forwarded you guys the email that I got from Judge Walker, and also, I understand Beadham agrees with this, the presiding judge. They have one employee that, basically back in '23, they changed computer systems, and they were putting their pretrial in there, and so they did it themselves instead of having a conversion done with the software vendors, the way I understood it. And she's been at 325 hours of comp. We do have in our manual, we like to keep that under 240. So he is asking that half of that be paid out at 160 hours, which for this employee would equate to about $4,400. So I guess I'm just asking, that's not something I have the authority to do through payroll unless you guys approve that. So I do understand there's probably some other ones that are coming with holiday time, so I'm asking if you would approve that. And Cotton said he couldn't be here today, but he could come next week if you really wanted to talk to him. But I think he pretty well explained everything in the email.
Just a nitty question.
Sure.
You said they had an employee.
Yes, it's our, well, I mean,
We have an employee.
we have an employee.
Got it.
Yes, they are not court people, they are
Right, okay.
county employees, yes.
Yeah, I saw the email. I'm fine with it. We're gonna either have to pay somebody overtime to come in and, or somebody else to come in and fill in, or.
Oh, or leave
it's-
her off.
It's gonna
yes.
cost us one way or the other, and so.
I may have to do some transferring of money, just so you're aware of that.
But this would still come out of their budget because they did not use some money that was in there for the work that she did, the way I understand it.
They had
right?
some part-time money that they did not use.
That was gonna be used for that, but instead she did it, so, and that's still within what they had. If I was trying to find that email back, but. Is that the way you understood it?
Yeah, they really didn't use all their part-time money in '23, so, you know, we don't go on that kind of stuff. We're on '24 calendar year, we don't look at anything in last year's budget, so it's kind of, is there enough money in this part-time now to do that? Yes. But there will be a transfer from part-time to full-time to cover it,
Okay.
From their own
from their own
budget
department.
account,
Yes.
department, yeah, okay. So, you good then? Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the comp time payout for the pretrial employee.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
we have breezed through that. Do we have any unfinished business? Yes?
So our road superintendent, Kevin Light, informed me last week that he's retiring.
No,
Yes.
no, that's like Debbie.
Yeah, I know.
Six
You'll be ready
more
to get rid of
years.
me.
Did he check with his wife first?
His wife was the one I think that pushed. it.
Okay, just wanna make sure, I'm just trying to help
She's
Kevin
already
out, you
there.
know.
She retired last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, knew she was retired, but didn't know if she wanted him there full time. Okay, go
Anyway.
ahead, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect that soon. I figured he'd go another couple of years, but it was time for him, so we'll go through the process again and we'll look to hire from within. But that'll almost certainly create some ripple effect like it usually does, so. Take a little bit to get through it, but I don't call it a storm, but we've been through this, not weathered the storm, but we've been through this the past however many years, it just happens. It's natural progression, so.
The end of the year, how long, when is your retirement?
His last date's gonna be December 7th, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the notice out already for his replacement. So we'll try to have that in place before Thanksgiving.
How many years have you been with us?
33.
He's right
So
under
we need-
me.
We need to get a
He's 6 months under me.
proclamation to present.
Yeah. Yeah, he started off, I think he came in originally, he was just a maintenance worker and was on the concrete crew. I think he led the concrete crew for a little bit. Then was promoted to the engineering side, was a construction inspector and engineering tech for 16 or so years, and then became assistant road superintendent under Brian, and then when Brian left, he got promoted up to road superintendent. So,
Good.
lot of knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to replace. A lot of good years there, so.
I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing, though. We've had people that have been here for a long time, and we've been able to retain the good employees, so we've been lucky on that, and then we've been able to actually fill it in with existing employees, so we kinda got a good system going there, and hopefully we'll keep people around for a while. The new ones coming in, so.
The key is to keep the ones that come in, try to keep them, and we are struggling a little bit there. Our years of service average is going down. A little bit of that just due to a lot of people retiring all within a short amount of time, just, it's just natural progression, so.
That's
But,
probably not unusual with their department and any other department, so the retention is not as
There's
it
a lot more
was.
money being thrown around out there, though,
Right.
in that business, because there's some kids coming out of high school making some good money. And they're learning this stuff just like they'd be learning at the county. I think one of the things that we have going for us is that we can get them their CDL, but that still doesn't keep them around, too long. They could possibly, after a couple of years, or even buy out of it, so.
Down at State Tech, part of their programs down there, they give them the training for the CDL at State Tech, so there's a lot of people graduating out of there with it already.
Yeah,
It's pretty competitive, it's getting that way.
I mean, we've made some adjustments to try to keep up. It's gonna happen. It'll level out at some point, so.
Yeah, I hate to lose it.
Yeah, well, we just need to keep looking at salaries, make sure that's where it needs to be. We are looking at that right now for next year's budget, and we'll start figuring that out and have some conversations.
Okay.
Okay. Any other business? Okay.
Don't think so.
Our next scheduled meeting will be next Wednesday, November 13th. So mark your calendars accordingly at 9 a.m. I would entertain a motion to stand in recess until 4:30.
I'll make a motion to stand in recess until 4:30.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Figure out this, Don.